So, we got another indie pilot to talk about. That's all the intro you need. Cutting to the title card in 3, 2, 1.
Now I see something red.
As you know, Gameoverse recently had its release and its backlash and praise from the critics, and along with that, released not too far apart from this pilot was another pilot called Planetronika. And I kid you not, it has almost the exact same complaints as Gameoverse. Before we get into that, as always, gotta give you a quick rundown. Now, there's a good chance that a good chunk of you watching this video grew up in 2000s, or the 2010s at least, and you'd know that that was probably the most goated era for television cartoons. I'm talking The Amazing World of Gumball, regular show, Ben 10. All of them are absolute goats. Shit, I'm getting a little nostalgic just talking about it. That was a brilliant era. And if you are ever itching for that feeling again, to going back to being that age, however old you were, well, Planetronika's got you covered in that regard. But as for the rest of it, well, we're going to go ahead and talk about that right now. To start off with the positives, the animation really does a good job at nailing that 2010s aesthetic. They even went as far as to put a TV PG rating at the top left corner at the intro, and the animation quality actually looks like very old-timey. So yeah, props to the animation department on that. I have no complaints with that whatsoever. The little Easter eggs they littered throughout it, referencing old media that came around during that era of cartoons, I thought that too was really good. And I also really like the character designs on, like, literally the only two characters in this show. Well, not the only two, but yeah, the main two characters I really like the designs of. They really feel like characters that people would make, like that a creator would make back during that time of cartoons. So, artists and character designers, I applaud you. Hang on, I'm holding my mic, I'm gonna have to... Yeah, that was my clap. I'm clapping you up. You did a very good job on this show. But now, with the positives out the way, it's time to move on to the negatives. And I'm very sad to say that the negatives outweigh the positives in this case. To start off with the biggest problem, the story just... there's literally no story to this pilot. Like, I'm not even kidding, nothing is explained during this pilot. All we get are these two characters just playing a basketball game, and something goes slightly awry. In Gameoverse understands the assignment. It's introduced you to the characters, introduced you to the world, introduced you to the story, the bad guy, all that. We get introduced to the characters' backstory and why they're doing what they're doing, and the villain's story and why they're doing what they're doing. Basically, it's a whole thing. It explains itself. Planetronika does literally none of that. All we get are two characters interacting with each other and playing a game of basketball, and chaos ensues. That's literally it. Not even an indication as to their background. Like, I'm not expecting an entire backstory to these characters in the first pilot, obviously, but just like little tidbits on what they're doing, who they are, why they're interacting in this game of basketball now. And what about world building? Can we get something in the way of world building here? Like, what kind of society are they living in? I mean, there's a literal slime boy, there was a plant girl shown earlier, there was a little chomper from Plants vs. Zombies looking thing earlier, so I'm guessing this is like a humans live among creatures kind of thing. I really don't know what's going on. We could do with an explanation as to why these creatures exist among humans. That would be absolutely wonderful for you to explain in your literal pilot. If this show ends up getting greenlit for a full season, then I trust that they're actually gonna buckle down and explain what the hell's going on. But I think it would have been nice if we got some of that information in the pilot as well, because how are viewers supposed to connect with the world and the characters if we know literally nothing about them or this world? I mean, no disrespect to the actual creator of this project. I'm really liking what he's doing here and what he's going for, and I wish him the best in the future for this project. But with this pilot, it's just not off to a good start. I'll say that. Now, along with those complaints, I've seen another complaint that you might be familiar with if you watched Gameoverse. Now, one of the big complaints with Gameoverse was that it was full of fan service and was just gooner bait. And lo and behold, we got that same complaint with Planetronika. With, of course, the main target of that complaint being the female main character called Butterfly. I don't think I said her name in the beginning of the video. Yeah, her name's Butterfly. And of course, people flooded Twitter with this whole complaint saying, wah, this character's too sexy, wah. You're probably thinking, oh, it's just a bunch of people being perverts again, there's nothing much to go off it. But I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm gonna have to side with Twitter on this one.
What?
Yes, I know, very shocking, but for once, I think Twitter just has a point here. Planetronika is literally just 7 minutes of fan servicing the main character. Gameoverse had fan service. I'm not denying that, no one's denying that. But at least the fan service in that pilot actually took a back seat to the story of that pilot. But what is this dreaded fan service, you may ask? Well, the fan service in this is weirdly focused on the main character's ass. There's this one scene where she just places her hands on her ass. There's another where it just straight up shows a close-up of it. And there's another where she's in this position, and another where her ass just gets set on fire for some reason. I don't know where the fire came from. I really hope my nan doesn't hear me recording this video, just me talking about ass. But yeah, I'm of the opinion that the fan service took a front seat to any potential story we could have gotten in this pilot. I'm not trying to accuse the creator of anything, but still, it's just a little bit, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you. Like, I'd excuse maybe 1 or 2 ass shots, but you had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 shots that were focusing on this female character's posterior. I'm just saying, maybe just tone it down. Like, if this show ends up being greenlit, maybe tone it down. I'm not saying don't have fan service, because, yeah, Butterfly is bad as hell. I would definitely crack, but, like, you don't need to be, like, showing off her body all the time. That is how your show, or whatever you're working on, gets accused of being just goon bait. If your show is just, constant fan service and showing off, like, the female body like that, it's just, it's not going to be enjoyable. Don't get me wrong, I can appreciate a lovely woman as much as the next guy, but, like, actually give her character instead of just being like this thing you can ogle at. I don't mean to morally grandstand, it's just basic advice when writing a female character. Don't have your characters be like one-dimensional, oh, they're so sexy, oh, they're so hot kind of characters, and that's literally the only thing going for them. You do that, and you're not gonna have a bright future for this show going forward. But yeah, overall, the pilot was pretty bad. It had some good elements that I have praised at the beginning of the video, but a lot of the negatives stem from the fan service and the lack of story in the actual pilot. But let me know, what did you think of the pilot? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Leave a comment down below. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you thought about the video. Also, be sure to recommend me any topics you'd like me to talk about or any kinds of videos you'd like me to do. Please go and support my other content if you ended up liking this video. I do content based around movies, video games, indie animation and all that. But yep, that's really all I have to say for today. So take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.